Today we're going to talk about harmonic planing. It's a really great way of getting a lot of that filmic sound or mood into your compositions, evoking a lot of emotions for different kind of needs. So planing is actually just moving harmonic structures up and down in some kind of a pattern. And you try to keep the harmonic structure somewhat intact. Now there are two kinds of planing. The first one is the strict planing. So it's called strict because you can't change the harmonic structure at all. You got to keep every interval within your harmonic structure exact as you move it up and down. Diatonic planing, on the other hand, you can change the inner workings of your structure to accommodate for the scale or mode or key that you're in. And I'll show you how to do both of them. Let's start with how to do strict planing. And you just got to remember three things: grid, pattern, and harmonic structure. So the grid is kind of the landscape that you want to play around in when you're finding a pattern to play in. So that could be, for example, chords, like diminished 7 or augmented chords, or you could have normal scales like major and minor, or some more exotic scales like the octatonic scale, the hexatonic scale, augmented scale, and so on. Just find some kind of a grid to play around in when you're trying to find interesting melodic lines and interesting patterns so that you can use as a basis for your planing. So for my example, I've chosen the octatonic scale. So you see here, the octatonic scale works with being just comprised of half steps and whole steps. And it's really cool for a lot of different non-traditional music. Then I played around in the octatonic scale for a while and came up with this kind of a melody or short pattern. And as you see at the end, there is a chromatic falling line. That's not part of the octatonic scale. I just used other tricks that I put in here to connect the E flat and the C. But everything else is octatonic. So the last step is finding what kind of harmonic structure or structures you want to use when you're playing. It could be intervals or triads or augmented or diminished chords. You could use 4-note chords, or any kind of a harmonic structure that gives you the feeling that you want for your composition. So I actually chose two different structures for my composition here. I chose the minor chord in second inversion for the most of the chord, and I also chose an augmented chord. And here is the sketch. I have now planed all the notes in the melody with minor second inversion chords up until the 5th bar, where I changed to the augmented chord to get even more dissonant at the climax. And this is what it sounds like for the full orchestra. Sounds really like kind of a bad guy theme or build up till the villain is revealed or something. A little old school, but very cool. Let's move on to diatonic planing. For diatonic planing, it's basically the same process. So you choose a grid, you make a pattern or a melody, and you choose a structure. The difference is that we're going to adjust the structure to fit with the underlying scale. So this way we don't lose the sound of the mode we're in. So for this example, I chose to use C Lydian. And I played around in C Lydian until I came up with this melody. Then I choose a structure. I chose second inversion triads as my structure, and partly because I wanted to start with C. And as you see here, I'm going through with only second inversion triads, but they're not all major. Because if we didn't change between major, minor, and also one diminished here at the end, we would play notes that are not in C Lydian and we would lose that C Lydian sound. So this is a much more diatonic way of doing it, keeping the Lydian sound intact all the way through, even though the chord changes with the melody. So then I added the bass. I tried to reinforce the C to really hammer home that we're in C Lydian, while this melody was going on top. And here it is with a full mock-up for the orchestra. I think it turned out quite beautiful, like walking into a magical forest, discovering elven kingdom or something. To summarize, we have strict harmonic planing, where the harmonic structure you are planing is very rigid. It should not accommodate itself to fit the underlying key or grid that you're in. And the other one is diatonic planing, where you keep the rough structure that you're going to plane, but you make adjustments to the note so it always fits the underlying scale for a more modal sound. Try them out, learn them, put them in your bag of tricks, and you can weave them into your compositions, creating beautiful, emotional characters to film scoring or whatever you want to do. And if you like what I do on this channel, consider subscribing. Click the notification button if you want to be notified when I drop the next video. Check out my channel. I have a lot of different subjects there that you can learn. And I'll see you next time.